Hi, my name is Shelly, and welcome back to another episode of Just a Girl and Her Healing podcast. Today's episode is titled, Don't Stop Healing. And I want to be real with you. Healing is not pretty. And I think we all know that. It's not soft music. It's not candles or quiet moments of clarity. Sometimes it's tears you can't explain. Sometimes it's silence that feels too loud. Sometimes it's realizing that the version of you that survived can't go with you anymore. Before I dive into today's episode, I want to be honest about something. This message, Don't Stop Healing, came to me in a moment when I almost gave up on my own healing. I was so tired of revisiting the same pain. Tired of trying to explain my process to people who didn't understand it. Tired of feeling like I was doing everything right, but I was still waking up heavy. And I remember sitting there talking to God saying, why does it still hurt? Why do I feel like I'm starting over again? And I heard so clearly in my spirit, because it's not a one-time thing. It's a journey, and you can't stop now. That's when I realized every time we choose to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is changing, that's when healing deepens. So this episode is my heart to yours. It's a reminder, one that is raw, honest, and unfiltered, not to stop healing no matter how hard it gets. You see, people talk about healing like it's this beautiful process, making it sound all peaceful, gentle, graceful. And yes, sometimes it is. But more often than not, healing feels like breaking all over again. It's uncomfortable. It's very, very lonely. It's facing everything you ran from, right? Everything you buried, everything you said you were over. Healing is like crying yourself to sleep when no one's around to see it. It's waking up and choosing to face the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. Healing is saying, I want better even when better feels far away. Healing looked like nights where I've questioned God. Yeah, it looked like forgiving people who never said sorry. To me, it was like forgiving myself for the things I did just to survive. Also, forgiving myself for all the ways I've abandoned my own heart. Healing looked like setting boundaries while you're shaking and trembling, afraid people would leave. And then realizing that the ones meant to stay will honor your growth. True story. And maybe you've been there too. Walking in that space where you're trying to grow, but it hurts too much to keep going. If you had days where you questioned if you're really healing at all, listen to me, my loves. I want you to know this. You are, even when it feels like you're stuck. Okay? Even when the old wounds resurface, even when the progress doesn't look like you imagined, healing is happening. And that's where this message comes in. Don't stop healing. See, because healing isn't just about becoming who you used to be. Okay, and I think that's where a lot of us make the mistake, thinking that when we're healing, we have to become something or someone brand new. It's literally about becoming who you were meant to be before life broke you. It's about remembering your worth even when your reflection doesn't match your vision. Healing is about holding space for your pain and your progress. Absolutely. You can heal and still hurting. Surprise, yes you can. You can be growing and still grieving. You can be whole and still a work in progress. Give yourself grace and compassion on your journey. You got this. You see, I know this all too well when it comes to fear. Okay. And that's one of the biggest things that you have to fight while you're on your journey, because fear can whisper to you in the quiet moments, telling you that maybe this healing thing isn't working. Fear will tell you maybe you'll always carry the pain, that maybe you're too far gone. But let me tell you something, my loves. That's a big, bold-faced lie. Fear usually show up the loudest right before freedom breaks through. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself that every storm passes. What feels like confusion right now is just the space where new understanding is being born. You may not see it yet, but God is rebuilding you in ways that will one day make perfect sense. You will wake up one morning lighter. Guaranteed. You will speak about what once shattered you, and it won't sting anymore. You will look at your reflection and finally recognize the strength that it's been growing quietly beneath your pain. Even when fear tells you to stop, I want you to whisper back, I've come too far to turn around now. Because, my loves, you have. And the same God who began this healing in you will finish it. Let me remind you that you're not forgotten. You are being reshaped by divine hands that know exactly what they're doing. Keep pushing, keep going, keep healing. And I know there are days you'll want to quit. Okay? There are going to be days you'll say, I thought I was over this. But please don't stop. Days when the triggers hit harder than you expected. Listen, my loves, don't let the hard days convince you that you're going backwards. You're not. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You, my loves, you are becoming who you've always meant to be. But that's the thing about healing. It's not linear. It's not a straight path. It's messy. It loops back around. It brings up old wounds just when you thought you've moved past them. It doesn't mean you're failing. It means your soul is clearing out layers you didn't even know were still there. It means you're brave enough to face what most people keep running from. You see, my loves, I've learned that healing asks you to choose yourself over and over and over again, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's lonely, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because let me tell you this, one day you'll look back and realize that every tear, every breakdown, every prayer whispered, even when your lips were trembling, was shaping you into something stronger, my loves. Something softer. Something freer. If you feel like giving up on your healing, don't. Don't stop because it's hard. You're not a quitter. Don't stop because it hurts, because it will. Don't stop because people don't understand your journey, because they won't. And you know what? It's okay. It's not for them to understand what you're going through. And I want you to keep going because you deserve to meet the version of you that's waiting on the other side of all this pain. You owe that to yourself. You owe it to the child in you who just want peace. You owe it to the woman or the man you're becoming who finally knows what peace feels like. So take this time, my loves, to breathe. Cry if you need to. Release. It's okay to cry. Pray. Rest. But don't stop. Your healing is holy work. And just because it doesn't feel beautiful right now doesn't mean it isn't working. God is still in the details, even in the chaos. So trust that every piece of you that's breaking is actually making room for something new to be born. something new to grow. Your healing is planting seeds. And before we close today, I want to leave you with something deeper, an invitation to go within. Because true healing doesn't come from what you can fix on the surface. That's where a lot of us misunderstand what the healing process is about, because we tend to try to fix things on the outside. But healing begins in the quiet places inside of you. The ones you've avoided, the ones that still ache when no one's around. That's where the real work lives. You see, going within means learning to sit with yourself without distraction. Cut out the outside noise. Go in meditation. Read your Bible. Journal. Talk to God. He is there listening. It's allowing your heart to speak even when what it has to say is uncomfortable. It's choosing to face the memories that shaped you, not with judgment, but with compassion. Because when you meet those parts of yourself, honestly, you give them permission to transform. So, my loves, listen, inside you are answers that no one else can give. Not your doctor, not your therapist, not your friend, not your family, not your husband, not your wife. The guidance you've been searching for isn't lost. It's literally buried under the noise, under the expectations, the old stories that tells you you're not enough. But let me tell you something, your soul remembers. It knows where the light is. And it's literally been waiting for you to slow down long enough to hear it. Going within also means learning to listen differently. Not just to what hurts, but to what your spirit is trying to teach you through the pain. You know, sometimes the silence after the tears is the sacred moment. You know, the moment when you finally meet your truth face to face. When you go inward, you begin to see that healing isn't something you chase. It's something that unfolds. Okay, the more you trust what's inside you, the more you listen to that small, steady voice that says, keep walking. You're safe now. You don't need to be fixed because you're not broken. You need to be understood by your own heart. And that understanding happens when you stop running from yourself. So take time each day to be still. Breathe. Let your thoughts settle and ask your soul, what do you need from me today? And then listen, not with your mind, but with your spirit. That's where peace begins, not outside of you, but in the stillness that lives within. And when you find that space, even for a moment, you, my loves, you'll realize that you were never broken. You were only waiting to come home to yourself. Going within yourself is how you build an unshakable foundation, because when the world becomes loud, when life feels uncertain, you see, that inner connection will remind you of who you are. It will remind you that you are loved. You are whole and you are guided. My loves, let's take a moment together to just breathe, okay? In through your nose and slowly out through your mouth. Begin when you're ready. And as you exhale, let your shoulders soften. Let your heart open and let this silence hold you for a moment, reminding you that you are safe, loved, and supported right here, right now. I want to take a moment and pray for you. God, thank you for every soul listening in this moment. Thank you for their courage to face what others might hide. Thank you for the quiet strength that keeps them walking even when the road feels heavy. God, wrap them in your peace, the kind that silences fear and steadies the heart. Remind them that their healing is unfolding exactly as it should, even when they can't see the progress. God, help them to trust the process, to rest when they need to, and to listen to that still, gentle voice within that whispers truth. May every wound begin to soften. May every burden lift a little lighter tonight. And may they remember they are never walking this path alone. Amen. My loves, take one more deep breath. Feel gratitude for how far you've come. Feel grace wrapping around every part of you that is still learning to heal. You are loved. You are seen. You are becoming. So I want you to take this with you today. Okay? The answers aren't somewhere out there. So if that's where you're looking, you'll never find it. They're already inside of you. You just need the courage to go inward and listen. Truly, truly listen. My loves, thank you so much for listening to my heart today. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder to keep healing. So until next time, please take care of your soul and don't stop healing. Don't stop choosing you. And remember, no matter how heavy it gets, you're not doing this alone. God is with you, and I am right here walking this journey with you. I love you, and I will catch you on the next episode.